say one last thing, just so we're really clear. I had no knowledge or involvement in this issue, in its planning or its execution, and I am stunned by the abject stupidity that was shown here.
Abject stupidity. Those are the words of Chris Christie as he is in full damage control, trying to save his credibility in Trenton and possibly his chances for a future White House run. Did he put the bridge scandal, if not behind him, at least in a better place than it was one day ago? And what more will he have to do to try to settle a lot of questions and ongoing investigations? And even if he did not give the order, did the governor's style allow this scandal to happen? Meanwhile, the next headache for the governor, it begins. One of his Port Authority appointees, who already resigned over the scandal, cited for contempt by the State Assembly Committee. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to RFL. I'm Richard French, and thank you so much for joining us this Thursday evening, January 9th. Now, he spoke and answered questions for 108 minutes late this morning into afternoon, but was today's press conference and his performance by the governor here enough to salvage not only his presidential hopes, but more of the here and now, the credibility of his governorship? Now, it began with an apology.
And I come out here today to apologize to the people of New Jersey. I apologize to the people of Fort Lee, and I apologize to the members of the state legislature. I am embarrassed and humiliated by the conduct of some of the people on my team. There's no doubt in my mind that the conduct that they exhibited is completely unacceptable and showed a lack of respect for their appropriate role of government and for the people that we're trusted to serve.
It was a stark departure of a governor known for bluster and bravado and almost egging on all comers for a fight here. To have contrition of any kind here was something that took back Christie observers for something really that they hadn't seen before. And at the press conference, Christie insisted he didn't know of the plan to exact political payback. That's what it was here against the mayor of Fort Lee for the temerity of not endorsing him, even though he was a Democrat here, by blocking access lanes to the GW Bridge, and that his misstatements came only because his staff lied to him about what they knew.
I'm sad. I'm sad. That's the predominant emotion I feel right now, is sadness. Sadness that I was betrayed by a member of my staff. Sadness that I had people who I entrusted with important jobs who acted completely inappropriately. Sad that that's led the people of New Jersey to have less confidence in the people that I've selected. The emotion I've been displaying in private is sad.
Now, in response, Christie announced that he had terminated Deputy Chief of Staff Bridget Kelly this morning. As you remember, it was Miss Kelly's email that was the smoking gun, showing the bridge mess was, in fact, unlike what the governor had said weeks ago, a complete act of political payback against the mayor of Fort Lee for his refusal to endorse Christie's reelection. Quote, "Time for some traffic problems in Fort Lee," she wrote.
I am heartbroken that someone who I permitted to be in that circle of trust for the last 5 years betrayed my trust. I would never have come out here 4 or 5 weeks ago and made a joke about these lane closures if I had ever had an inkling that anyone on my staff would have been so stupid but to be involved, and then so deceitful as to just to not disclose the information of their involvement to me when directly asked by their superior.
So the governor said basically only one member of his senior staff, only one member of the inner circle knew anything about that, the aforementioned Miss Kelly was terminated, but there was more consequences that went beyond her. Christie also essentially fired longtime associate Bill Stepien, who managed both of his gubernatorial campaigns and whom the governor was backing to become both the state GOP chairman of New Jersey and an advisor to the National Republican Governors Association, which Christie now heads. Stepien, he was caught in the email dump calling the mayor of Fort Lee an idiot.
I was disturbed by the tone and behavior and attitude, callous indifference that was displayed in the emails by my former campaign manager, Bill Stepien. And reading that, it made me lose my confidence in Bill's judgment. And you cannot have someone at the top of your political operation who you do not have confidence in. As a result, I've instructed Bill Stepien to not place his name in nomination for state party chairman, and he will not be considered for state party chairman. And I've instructed him to withdraw his consultancy with the Republican Governors Association. If I cannot trust someone's judgment, I cannot ask others to do so, and I would not place him at the head of my political operation because of the lack of judgment that was shown in the emails that were revealed yesterday.
So in addition to those two longtime advisors of the governor, as well as a Port Authority appointee here that was shown the door a couple weeks ago, the governor still has to answer the question, what did he know and when did he know it? For his part, he said very clearly today he did not know until yesterday that there was any involvement whatsoever by his staff.
I know there was much discussion yesterday about what was I doing. Well, let me tell you, everybody, I was blindsided yesterday morning. I was done with my workout yesterday morning and got a call from my communications director at about 8:50, 8:55, informing me of this story that had just broken on the Bergen Record website. That was the first time I knew about this. It's the first time I had seen any of the documents that were revealed yesterday. And so before I came out and spoke to all of you, I wanted to do the best I could to try to get to the bottom on some of this so that when I came out, I could answer questions as best I can and take appropriate action if action was necessary.
But remember, everyone, what this was all about. For 4 days, as we now know from the email chain, for political payback reasons only, the residents of Fort Lee had to suffer interminable traffic. There is even reports here of some safety concerns, kids missing starts of the school year, being late, and even one ambulance that was delayed, as well as other emergency vehicles here. So with all that, the governor insisted time and time again that he had not had any role in the bridge stunt.
And I'll say one last thing, just so we're really clear. I had no knowledge or involvement in this issue, in its planning or its execution, and I am stunned by the abject stupidity that was shown here